Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Sam Lev. I am with the Mobile Market Coalition / University at Buffalo. So when you see a Buffalo email address from me, you'll know why. Talk a little bit more about the coalition in a second, but I'm so glad you are here to learn more about our upcoming session of Mobile Market 101. Presumably, most of you came through the Veggie Van Toolkit or other various forms of outreach because you are here interested in planning, launching, or expanding a mobile market of your own, which is exactly what we're here to talk about today. We'll go through a little bit of kind of what the course looks like, some of the evidence and information that Mobile Market 101 is really built on, the kind of common best practices and shared knowledge of mobile market operators around the country. And then we'll talk about whether or not this course is right for you, some of the logistics, and so on and so forth. It's a pretty casual one. If anybody has any questions, don't hesitate to drop them in the chat or unmute yourselves and ask at any point along the way. We don't need to like pause till the end or anything like that, given the group size. And then lastly, this will be recorded. So if you've got team members that you want to review this with or share with, please feel free to send out the recording, forward it along when I send it, probably tomorrow to everybody who's registered. I would love, while I'm kind of getting started at the intro level, to hear from you all. If you guys wouldn't mind just putting in the chat, maybe where you're from and what your thoughts are on a mobile market. Are you running one, or are you exploring? Or are you just getting more information? I'd love to hear kind of where people are on their mobile market journey right now. And feel free to do that as we go. Um, so yeah, what is the Mobile Market Coalition? Some of you might be familiar, might already get our emails, but you know what we are, based out of the University at Buffalo, is a national coalition of mobile produce market operators, stakeholders, and planners. The work we do consists of the following: we conduct research and distribute results of that research to help mobile markets succeed in various ways. We build resources. Mobile Market 101 being one of the resources, the Veggie Van Toolkit, and associated webinars, networking events, and case studies along the way being the others. We convene this national network, so it's incumbent on us now to create networking opportunities, chances to meet up, like the Mobile Market Summit that happens every year that you might have just seen, Orlando, March 2025. We provide technical assistance and training. This course is kind of the main outreach for new mobile markets, but we have a wide variety of options, from one-on-one coaching and consulting to other shared learning opportunities for coalition members and the public alike. And then lastly, the kind of newest field for us is we advocate for mobile markets at various levels, national, state, and local. That is kind of nascent for us as the Mobile Market Coalition has come together in the last couple of years. The goal really being learning what some of the big pain points are for those planning to launch and operate and succeed in their mobile market work, and what can we do representing the national network to advocate for good change. One of the big kind of low-hanging fruits for us that we want to start working on soon, as an example, would be trying to get some mobile market definitional language into the USDA world, so that we can do things like ease the path for applying for a USDA SNAP authorized retailer certification, getting your FNS number so you can accept SNAP, for example. We know that a lot of mobile markets have trouble with that because there's not a really clear path for those who are mobile markets and not grocery stores or farmers markets or convenience stores or any of the other ones there's actually check boxes for, right? So great to see everybody putting their stories in the chat. Thank you so much. It's great to see people from all around the country here with us today. So what are we here to talk about today? Mobile Market 101 is really the kind of the most readily available educational intervention for those who are planning to start a mobile market, typically in the next 12 months or so. It's a virtual, web-based, Zoom-based course. We use a cohort model, so folks matriculate through the content all together, which I find really important and valuable as we learn from each other, as we bounce ideas off of each other, and so we kind of create this little learning network. It runs late fall to the spring this year. And those of you who are familiar with the Veggie Van Toolkit, it really takes that roadmap for starting a mobile market and goes way, way, way deeper than the Veggie Van Toolkit content. So I'll show you kind of a sample syllabus here in a minute, in order of events. But what you'll notice is some of the concepts that you all may have seen in the Veggie Van Toolkit really just grow out and grow way deeper in this course. There's a mix of live and recorded presentations. We'll watch some recordings during the live 2 hour sessions, but we will also do things like assign some homework, watching a video, maybe a 30-minute video in the week in between courses to prepare you for the conversation for the next one. So you can expect to both have live conversation. I am doing kind of the vast majority of the presenting in Mobile Market 101, but I do now and then bring in some other experts to talk about subject matter that maybe isn't necessarily within my wheelhouse, as well as relying on some of those recorded presentations from former cohorts that are just really, really excellent content so that I don't have to continue to bug the same people over and over to give them their time. We do a lot of templates and tools. So every session gets a follow-up email with links to downloadables, whether it's budget documents or focus group interview templates or surveys or anything like that. So you'll see a wide range of tools that we've created that you can now make your own to pave the way to hopefully make your path a little bit easier to starting a mobile market. I really rely on a lot of group conversation, question asking, breakout conversations, group participation, because I think we have a lot to learn from each other and the various backgrounds and expertise that we bring to the table. I used to run a mobile market. I started and ran one for about 7 years in Southwest Virginia. I bring that experience and the experience of a co-executive director role in that organization to the table, but I am really deeply familiar with that model, and I'm learning more about the way other mobile markets bring their services to the community every day. And if you've learned about one mobile market, you've learned about one mobile market. There is such a huge diversity of approaches and expertise and model elements in this community that I really love. And so just because you're taking the course and I'm leading it doesn't mean we don't have a lot to learn from each other. And it doesn't mean that your approach isn't going to be super valuable to what other attendees in this cohort are also thinking about. Lastly, this is new this year. We have kind of changed the course, the format of the course a little bit. We've made it a little bit more condensed in duration. So it used to be like a 7-8 month course. Now it's going to be 4. So we're condensing some of the content down a little bit. We're still keeping everything, but instead of some of the extended breakouts and group conversation, we're going to push some of those to optional office hours weeks. As an example, we might do 3 out of every 4 Thursdays for the course. I'm not saying it's going to be Thursdays, but 3 out of 4 weeks we'll have live content, and the 4th week might be office hours where anyone can come and really dig deep conversationally in some of the content we've been working on. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this works and helps people meet their goals and helps us kind of drill down into any of your specific challenges that we might not have time to do in a 2 hour lecture style session. Here's a sample of our syllabus. It will not stay like this for those of you who end up taking the course. It will look a lot like this, but every year, once we enroll folks and people sign up for the course, I like to do a little bit of surveying and kind of getting to know you phone calls before the course starts so that we can make sure that the content actually meets the needs of the group. As an example, we didn't used to have a fundraising session. We used to kind of touch on it in a few different ways. But about 2 years ago, I started hearing from folks that were really early in the process of starting a mobile market, didn't necessarily have like a 3-year runway of funds to pay their staff and operational costs. And so we started a whole new session on where to find grants and sponsorships, how to source them, how to write compelling applications for your mobile market work, and so on and so forth. And so now that's a really a popular session in kind of reviewing our course. So these are some of the big picture themes that you'll see us talk about, right? So it goes kind of in these modules of really preparing early phase, building that foundation for how you'll build your mobile market, right? Making some of those value-based decisions, what you know from your community, how you're going to price, what kind of products you're going to carry, and learning about the way we we expect folks to really match the mission of their organization and the goals of the service they want to bring to the community with what the needs are within the community and the way all of that kind of meshes together to build a really successful model. The second module is a little more operational, so it's focused on kind of bringing that foundation to life. We talk about how to find the right vehicle for your particular program because there's a million different vehicles out there that serve different needs and different styles of programming. We talk about how to build a good schedule working with site partners. We talk about budgeting and finances and business planning and where to find good food. And then, towards the end, we'll talk a little even more so about some of the operational considerations, building staff, utilizing volunteers. This kind of catch-all session that's really detail-oriented about software, hardware, permitting, discounts and nutrition incentives. We cover a lot of ground in that session. And then really focusing on, getting to opening day and then really understanding the impact you're having in your community through good evaluation, sustainability considerations, how to survey customers, how to look at and interpret your sales data from your point of sale, and so on and so forth. I'm going to pause for a second and just see if anybody has any questions. Feel free to drop them in the chat or unmute. But any thoughts on kind of the topics we cover, what I said about kind of the top level thoughts on the course here? I know I'm throwing a lot of information out very quickly. Cool. Um, So why might you want to take this course? This is some data from a prior cohort. Like I said, we do some pre and post surveying, and so have really good information on the outcomes of this course, right? So over the last three cohorts, we've had 12 brand new mobile markets successfully launch. We've had about another four or five that were already in existence that have expanded, that have succeeded in training new staff on their mobile market to really rebuild that foundation and invest that time in training new young professionals. You can see here that we have a significant increase in the confidence in managing key aspects of your mobile market operation. Over half of our cohort members through the course leverage this course and what they're learning to earn more funds, whether it's grants applications, sponsors, or donations. I think that's a really important point, and that number has actually grown since we did this particular survey. And then one thing that I'm kind of personally really proud of is such a high percentage of people that took the course and rethought some of the major assumptions they made about their mobile market model, like the kind of vehicle they wanted, their pricing and financial outlooks, or the size and scope of their mobile market. And what that says to me is that people are coming into this course with some ideas, but really taking the knowledge that we're building and the information that we're sharing, what we know of successful mobile markets around the country, and building those best practices into their original assumptions, which I really love. So what is all of this information built on? A lot of it comes from a variety of sources. Like I said, as a former mobile market operator, a good deal of this information is just built on the experience that I have, as well as case studies and knowledge of other successful mobile markets around the country. So it's really, first and foremost, it's built on other successful mobile market models. And then a lot of the evidence for why we know certain ways mobile markets operate successfully is built on the veggie van model of operating a mobile produce market. So this is an evidence-based model that was studied and implemented by our team at the University of Buffalo, along with partners both in New York, Ohio, and then I believe North Carolina and kind of the southeastern United States was where our partners for this study were operating. And the idea is if you follow kind of these basic operational steps, which most mobile markets do, frankly, we know that mobile markets that do this improve the fruit and vegetable consumption of the customers that shop there. We know this through a rigorous academic study that there was 1 to 2 year results of, and we're just wrapping up a 7 to 8 year kind of follow-up study to really understand the veracity of this model and how it works for mobile markets to improve health outcomes, fruit and vegetable consumption, and so on and so forth. I'm not going to get too deep into this today, but you can see kind of the core tenets are offering some sort of food and nutrition education, going to convenient locations to meet the community where they're at, sourcing high quality, fresh produce, and implementing SNAP incentives and some kind of reduced cost pricing model to break down the barriers of affordability for mobile market shoppers. And then this is kind of a behavioral psychology tool that we'll talk about in the future, but implementing some kind of produce bundle is another kind of way we know improves fruit and vegetable consumption. It encourages people to buy more food, try more things, and ultimately take home more fruits and vegetables. Here's just a quick slide about kind of what that veggie van study was that has informed this model. Um, and again, the definition of the veggie van originally was that it was a mobile produce market that offered reduced cost, locally grown produce alongside those other aspects that you just saw me talk about. This was tested in North Carolina, oh gosh, over a decade ago, I think. Kind of understanding fruit and vegetable consumption and purchasing habits of customers who had a veggie van in their community versus those that didn't. And the results are really interesting. It showed that there was an improvement in the daily fruit and vegetable consumption per person. You can see 0.8 of a cup per day of an increase, which I find really exciting. It was really compelling for us and led to the much longer term study. And you can see that those that were using the mobile market, the veggie van, found that cooking vegetables that their family liked was easier, and they were eating more fresh produce as snacks within their household. So again, this is really the evidence-based foundation that a significant portion of the veggie van toolkit and Mobile Market 101 is built on, because we know through our research that providing fresh fruits and vegetables in this format in the communities of need has great results. All right, so we're going to shift gears a little bit and talk about some of the course logistics now. Again, if anybody has any questions, I know a couple of folks just kind of came in and out, but if you have any questions, don't hesitate to drop them in the chat or unmute here. Enrollment in this course. So for the first time, we're doing a sliding scale this year. So larger organizations, we're asking for a cost of $750. For smaller organizations, the cost is $500. That might mean 1 to 2 members of your staff can join the course under one cost. It's not a per person necessarily. I think we want to kind of make sure the cohort doesn't get to like 60 members. I think learning gets a little hard when the group gets that big, but it does mean for your organization, you can welcome more than one person to attend the course or attend certain sessions that might be more relevant. For example, if you've got someone that's going to focus on your procurement, where you're going to find and source your fresh produce, you might have them join that session. If you are an active member of the Mobile Market Coalition, you do get a 10% discount. That's sort of a one-to-one that pays for itself for small organizations because the lowest cost for a Mobile Market Coalition membership is $50. So 10% off is sort of a wash. And then you get access to all of the other growing list of benefits that come with Mobile Market Coalition membership, lending your voice to our national advocacy, some exclusive member discounts beyond just this course, and so on and so forth. And so I will send out a link after this course when I send out the video to consider Mobile Market Coalition membership as well. We do have an optional kind of one-on-one coaching add-on if you want. Like I said earlier, there is plenty of conversational time and time for question and answer, but there's certainly not enough time, and we have 10, 12, 13 cohort organizations to really dig into everyone's specific challenges on a one-on-one basis in the duration of the course. If you feel like you want to have or you have some additional budget for training, you're welcome to consider this kind of coaching add-on, which would be every other week. We can schedule them as needed, or we can schedule them on a fixed basis to really build a customized coaching plan and support and ways to kind of address your specific needs, questions, and challenges as they come up or as we kind of progress through your work plan and opening your mobile market. Folks that have taken advantage of that in the past have found it really helpful. I don't have the data on whether it speeds up their kind of timeline to opening, but it is really helpful for folks who maybe are working by themselves and want to just have someone to bounce ideas off of or kind of vet their ideas, their budget, their pitch language, and so on and so forth. So it is an option for you. This will be the second year that Mobile Market 101 completion comes along with our Mobile Market Operator Certification Program. And so, backed by the Mobile Market Coalition, this certification is really a professional development opportunity for you and your team that goes through this course to kind of show your commitment to the community and your team, to the best practices, to long-term sustainability and successful impact within your community for your mobile market. It doesn't cost anything extra to receive the certification, but there's a slightly higher bar than just taking the course and absorbing the content. We require an attendance rate at 80% or above. We require delivering one short presentation to the cohort. It's usually 5 to 10 minutes on something that you're working on, something that you're an expert in this field or an adjacent field that brings kind of some interesting information to the group. And then completing one assigned deliverable. These deliverables on their surface sound like homework, but what we really have is a set of templates or tools that we ask you to build for your own market that will become a useful tool for yourself. For example, demonstrating that you've learned what it takes to build a successful marketing plan for a mobile market. One of your deliverables might be to create and submit your marketing plan for your first year to us. It's a way to demonstrate knowledge, demonstrate that you're taking the lessons learned from Mobile Market 101 and incorporating them into your mobile market. This is a professional certification for the individuals that complete the course. We don't at present have what I would say is like a certified mobile market program, which would I think a little bit more explicitly try and understand how a mobile market is operating, the details of their market model, and ensuring that they're following kind of common best practices in the community too. That might be on the horizon, but this would be, for example, a great resume builder for yourself and something to share with funders, stakeholders in the community to show that you've got a strong commitment to really running this program successfully and within the known best practices within our community. I'm going to pause for a second before I start to answer some of these common questions. If you have any questions that have come up so far that aren't addressed here, again, plenty of time to ask them, to put them in the chat or to unmute. I'm going to give myself 15 seconds here to see if anybody has any questions. I must be very thorough today.
Sure.
So a couple of questions that we commonly get when people are considering Mobile Market 101. Is this course a good fit for me? Maybe. Mobile Market 101, like I said, covers everything you need to know in order to plan and launch a mobile market. This course would be most relevant for individuals and organizations in that planning phase, planning to open in the next year. We time it over the kind of winter, spring, so that folks can kind of work through the session content with an idea of opening that spring. That's not always perfect timing for folks. People are on different schedules, but that's kind of why we hold it when we do. And when we get to kind of the final operational and evaluation type sessions around when you might be opening, if you're a seasonal market opening during the growing season. I live in Phoenix, Arizona, so my growing season is upside down from probably most of you. But that's kind of why we hold it when we do. Most, but not all participants in Mobile Market 101 that are in that planning phase have some level of funding support, whether it's grants, organizational staff support to take this course and invest in this planning, or some commitments from other foundations or funders to fund this work once you've built the foundation. We don't exclude individuals or organizations that have already opened their mobile market, especially those that are maybe kind of wrapping up their first year or will be opening over the winter while the course is happening. This course is still super relevant for them. It gives you a chance to kind of readdress what you've been doing and some of the assumptions you made when you started your mobile market. So I think it's still plenty relevant for those who have already launched but are kind of new to the game still, for example. We are working on a 201 style, a more advanced course for those who have been running a mobile market for 3, 4, 5+ years. So that course is hopefully coming out this spring, maybe when this course ends. And so if you fit that bill, if you kind of have the basics down, you're confident in the way you run your mobile market, but you're hoping to kind of invest in time in expanding out that model, taking on new programming, for example, that course might be appropriate for you. I think for some of you, there's a kind of a gray area for maybe new staff that's coming in for the first time to start their mobile or to kind of take on an experience in existing mobile markets. I think either one might be right based on kind of where that person is in their professional journey or what kind of work you want to invest their time into. If you want to kind of You've been running for 5 years, but you're ready to totally reimagine what this mobile market looks like, who it serves, and how it operates, then spending that time with this new staff person on 101 might work. We have a big tent here. What's the time commitment? Uh, like I said, it is 2 hours weekly from mid to late November, probably through March and into April. It is held at the same time and day every week based on those that enroll. So, for example, if we get 10 individuals enroll, I will kind of pull those 10 people to find the most commonly available time, and we'll hold it on a repeating basis at that time every week. So, at a minimum, it's 2 hours every week. Those office hour sessions are really encouraged, but they are optional for the attendance requirements for mobile market operator certification. Um, I would expect an hour or a little less than an hour in between sessions on homework and prep. You won't have something to do between sessions every single week, but between some, you might be asked to kind of watch a 30-minute video and register some thoughts and questions and reflections on it and bring that prepared to the next session. So you might say if you're looking for kind of how much staff time you need for yourself or for a team member for this course, I would say at most 3 hours a week through the duration of the course, excluding holiday weeks and things like that. Um, yeah. What if I can't afford the course fee? So I mentioned the costs. We have scholarships available for those kind of limited capacity markets. We know there's a lot of grassroots organizations that really see a need in their community and want to get started, want to learn how to do this. So we can offer a scholarship. I would say reach out to me after I email the group, send me a personal email. I can drop my email in the chat at the end here if you want to consider a scholarship. This is not a grant funded course on our end. And so we've got some minimum number of participants that we need to make the numbers work on our end. But once we do that, we're happy to offer scholarships to those who really have that need. I think I already answered the what if I'm already running a mobile market? And then again, if there aren't currently other ways to receive the certification, so you all who complete this course and receive certification would be among the first 15 to 20 individuals to be certified mobile market operators. Congratulations. Next step. So again, this is my last slide here. So if there are questions, the time is coming. Time is running out. I will put in the follow-up email. Oh, go ahead, Courtney. I'll pause.
Oh, I just had a quick question, which is, does the certification ever expire?
No one's ever asked me that question. No. Once you're certified, again, for me, mobile market operator certification just demonstrates that you've completed the course, you've taken in all the knowledge that we have to share and brought it to your work, knowing that you're doing so with the best practices and common successful operational considerations for mobile markets. So once you're certified, you can leave it on your resume till you retire. Um, again, that distinction between what is a certified, what we might consider in the future as a certified mobile market is a little different versus kind of certifying the individual, which is what this course really promotes. So the timeline, next steps, there is an interest form. Some of you probably saw it in the email, the outreach email that brought you here. I will send it out following this meeting as well. But if you complete that Google form, interest form by November 5th, we will follow up with you. We will kind of make a selection and ensure kind of eligibility and interest and alignment and what folks are looking for out of this course just a couple of days later. I'm really trying to get moving on the course before the kind of December holidays hit, which is why I'm pushing this pretty quickly. In the ensuing week after you're notified that you've made it into the course, I'll offer to schedule brief onboarding calls. We'll talk a little bit more about time commitment. I have a couple of questions about your status as an operator, your needs, your biggest challenges, and biggest opportunities. And that will be reflected ultimately in some of the course content that we develop in the finalized syllabus. We'll ask you to complete that within a week of selection. And then we'll get started based on kind of how soon I can get going with the schedule. Either it's not, it's pretty tight to get in the week before Thanksgiving. So I wouldn't be surprised if the first week isn't until early December, given how long it might take to kind of process everybody through the onboarding calls. But if I can squeeze one in before the week of Thanksgiving, I will, and we will take into account with our schedule those kind of late December holidays and New Year's and things like that. I will say just off the cuff here, we will build the schedule based on how everybody responds with their availability, but every course so far has been on Friday afternoons Eastern. We will be kind of in the middle of the day somehow, no matter what day it is. It'll be lunchtime or later for East Coasters. It won't go too early in the morning for West Coasters or too late in the day for East Coasters. We're trying to hit that middle ground because we do have typically a national audience. And so that's what it looks like. I think that is it for my slides. I want to say thank you for joining. Again, if anybody has any questions, the time is now. I'm happy to hang out for another minute or two if you have any specific questions. Like I said, I look forward to those of you who are interested in this course to complete the interest form. I will be in touch to confirm those. There's not necessarily a strict set of eligibility requirements that would cause us to say no to you or your team joining the course. I do want to make sure that we keep the cohort big enough to make the numbers work out, but also intimate enough that we can all learn and converse and work together. So that's really the only reason we might consider delaying an individual taking the course is if we end up with way too many applicants, which hasn't happened yet. Laura, go ahead.
Yeah, Sam, thank you for this. This seems like an awesome opportunity and appreciate you everything you shared today. I just had a question because the mobile market that Courtney, Magda, and I work on that are here is the model is set up such that the food that is distributed is all free to the community. We it serves really as like a vehicle for distributing right now from the Greater Boston Food Bank, but also local farms through another grant funding stream. And so I know there's like you're going to tailor the curriculum, and there is a section on business planning. But I'm curious if you've had folks come through where it's not really like a business, but like a distribution vehicle for, where the end is just like free for the community.
Yeah, great question, Laura. Thank you. The model that we espouse really does focus more on what I would call kind of retail distribution than like food pantry style distribution. So a
Okay.
number of the operational considerations do have that in mind. That said, a couple of cohort attendees or course attendees have gone in that free distribution model. We don't spend too much time on the ins and outs of what the finances look like for that free model because
Okay.
retail sales are such a big part of the Veggie Van model. It's not to say it wouldn't be relevant for you, and the vast majority of the content is really focused on understanding the needs of their community and bringing the service to them that will be most helpful and impactful and build on the strengths of your organization. So I don't think you'd be necessarily excluded from most of the conversations that go on in 101 if you have a free
Great.
distribution model, but some of it like surely will not be relevant for you.
Okay. Great. That's helpful. Thank you.
Sure. Other questions, comments, thoughts? Great. Well, hearing none, I will close us out a little early today. Like I said, I appreciate you all joining. Feel free to fill out that interest form. If you still need to learn a little more, if you want to be considered for the course, but you're not quite sure yet, I recommend you fill out that interest form anyway. It is not a commitment to join either on our end or on your end. Nothing is necessarily binding until you join the course and pay the invoice. So I look forward to hearing from some of you. Thank you so much to those of you who attended today and already have filled out the interest form. And we will be in touch soon.
Thank you.
Sure
Thank
thing.
you.
Have a good day.